Wei, Wei, right?
Yes. Good afternoon, Nompi.
Uh,
Uh, Raining on and off.
Raining.
Mm.
So many rain in Singapore right now, right?
Uh, Not. I think sometimes sunshine, sometimes raining. So average, average.
Oh, okay. Average. So now how many people come here now? We have our monks, 4 monks, and then Long Pi Kevin, and then Wei Wei, Ong, and Long Pi One. Long Pi One is also help me. Here's from Friday night. Then we go up to take some sand for making barrier. Okay. We take a sand from here to make a barrier, but finally we cannot move that. Finally, everything's the flood is too high. The water above my over my head in that area. Actually, my temple is safe, but the house of our students, they need help, so we go there and help them. Our university, we provide food. Start from Saturday until uh the day before yesterday until Thursday that we stop, and many people also donate food for us, for helping on those people that we helping. So we go out for helping a lot of people. And when you see here is my I took my car is go out and help the senior people because they cannot walk. And then so they cannot walk, and the cars go to the house of people. First the water is not too high, but later on the water is too high, so my car here is a flood by water. That's why I take to the shop to fix it. Okay. And then what else that a moment please. So we go to help the people in the area. Right now they still flood. Okay. Still flood in that area. Some area is above about this, but some areas still high. The weather also very hot. So we go there. So we go up to the water and help the people there. Okay, so I will share some before we start our. Now we have many people already here. So I'm going to start with some video for us first with the preset number 5, right? Do you hear the voice?
แพ้ทำอะไร
ไม่ต้องมา
อันตรายนี่เลยรถทั้งนั้นเลยเนี่ยเข้าด้านในเข้าด้านในนะ
แมรี่เป็นเด็กหญิงตัวเล็กๆ อาศัยอยู่กับคุณแม่
Happy birthday Happy birthday Happy birthday to you
ตักเอ๋นี่ซื้อตุ๊กตาหมีมาให้ด้วย ตุ๊กตาหมีน่ารักน่ารักนะ
ออกไปหนูอยากเจอพ่อ
ดื่มแล้วขับชดใช้ยังไงก็ไม่พอ
น็อก10
ปกติก็ตื่นเช้า แต่วันนี้ตื่นเช้าเป็นพิเศษ วันนี้ลูกชายจะขับรถมาจากกรุงเทพมาเยี่ยมค่ะ เลยรีบลุกขึ้นมาทำกับข้าว เนี่ยของชอบของเขาทั้งนั้น นี่คงใกล้ถึงแล้ว
สวัสดีครับแม่
นี่กินเหล้ามาเหรอ กินหึงใช่เนี่ย
ผมขับรถไปชน10 ล้อที่จอดอยู่ครับ
นี่เป็นยังไงบ้างลูก
ผมไม่ได้เสียชีวิตทันทีหรอกนะครับ ตายระหว่างนำส่งโรงพยาบาล
ป่ะไม่ต้องพูดละ เข้าไปกินข้าวข้างใน แม่ทำกับข้าวไว้เยอะแยะเลย
แม่ครับ ผมขอโทษครับ
แล้วจะไม่กินข้าวด้วยกันก่อนเหรอ
ลูกชายของคุณแม่เสียไปหลายปีแล้ว แต่ในวันนี้ของทุกปี เธอก็ยังคงตื่นแต่เช้ามาทำกับข้าวรอลูกชายมาทานด้วยกัน ดื่มไม่ขับกลับบ้านปลอดภัย
Okay. This is the example of the video. that the people who drink and who drink get drunk and then drive, drink drunk drive, and that's why they got problem. So today, as I mentioned before, last time we talked about precept number 4, right? And today we're going to start from precept number 5. Precept number 5. So what is the precept number 5 talk about? Bưởi and Janice. So we talk about the precept number 5 is talk about the alcohol, right? Actually, it mentioned the abstain from alcohol, sura, meraya, matcha pama. That's Bali words. They combine together. According to your understanding, precept number 5 is only alcohol or any other things that we can consider as uh, as precept number 5 talk about. Any other things that we think that is the something that is violate precept number 5 out of alcohol?
Smoking is also one of them.
Smoking.
No?
Okay. What about the other? Smoking is what do you think? Smoking is one of them or it's not?
I think so. That is one of them. You know, when we smoke and we also get drunk.
When we smoke and then we got addict too, right? Any other things out of smoke?
Drugs.
Alcohol.
Drugs.
Drugs. Okay, drugs. Drugs. And then what else?
I have
What
a question
about
when it comes to this section, Rajan Karawakap.
Kap?
So when it comes to the precept, when it comes to the substance usage, there's a new industry that is starting in the States that I've heard about, and it's some rumors from back from my lay people life, and I was curious about this precept if it's actually breaking or not, such as they discover that there are some specific mushrooms that they contain a specific compound which is called psilocybin, and there's also a TV series on Netflix over many case studies of people that they go through this treatment of supposedly some kind of mushrooms that they make them hallucinate, and after just one treatment, most of the people, they get rid of addictions such as alcohol or smoking or things like that. So that made me raise the question, is that a drug? Is it not? Is it considered a medicine? Because it's altering the mind. But if the effect is for a person to get rid of addiction such as alcohol or smoking, then is it considered medicine?
Good question. Yes, last time I think on the television news, they talk about the mushroom in the southern part, that many people use that as, I think they use as entertain, right? They have like a party.
So there's two sections. There's the people that they do it for party environment, and there's people that they started clinics actually for people to get treated with this specific compound.
I see.
So they go to a clinic and they have this kind of treatment with the compound from magic mushrooms, and the mushrooms, they come naturally from the forest. So it's
I
not
see.
something that it's improvised in a laboratory like cocaine or like drugs like that, but it's something supposedly natural from the nature.
I see. So this question, before we move to analyze that would be drugs considered as a drugs or violate to the precept or not. So we come to to see the definitions of the 5 precepts first. Okay. After this, then we can together to see and to analyze that question that our friends ask is a kind of a violate to the precept number 5 or not. Okay, so we start from precept number 1 to number 4 already, and then now it is the precept number 5. So abstaining by the words, abstain from intoxicants, intoxicant. So the intoxicant, they said that this is the precept of actually the Buddhist people will follow this. And the monk is prohibited. But for people, for lay people, we use the word abstaining. Veramani. Veramani means abstaining. But for a monks, we don't. We use the word don't drink alcohol. So before we move on with the precept number 5 that we're going to go through is we will overview about the significant definitions and ethical implications of the fundamental aspect according to the Buddhist ethical conduct. As I told you the week before last week, okay, the week before last week, that in Buddhism, when the Buddha time there's some problem happen, then Buddha will list that as the precept. Okay, so as you remember that when the Buddha got enlightened, he give sermon or teach people to become a monk. And that first time, not many monks, and it's good for management. But later on, 1,000, 2,000, 10,000. So many monks, they are not like not obey the teaching of Buddha, or maybe they don't know how to follow. And yes, this is kind of like Buddha start to lay down the rule number 1, parachika, number 2, number 3, number 4, until intoxicant is one of the precepts that Buddha laid down for us. It is apathy. When Buddha after he got enlightened, he got student. One student, I think I forgot his name, but there's a student asked Buddha that we should lay down some rule, some regulations for monks to follow. But Buddha said that it's not the right time to set up the regulation right now, because if we set up too many regulations, then the people will if they want to become a monk, they're a little bit worried about that. So we will take a case of problem that happen due to their violence. It's not comfortable for the like it's not appropriate to a Buddhist monk, then he will lay down rules. Okay. So first, as we mentioned from precept number 1, number 2, number 3, number 4. So number 1 is abstaining from killing. This is the kind of for all lay people that practice about this. Okay, and for the monks too, but the monk we use the word don't. Okay, so let's see. They said that the 5th precept, which is involved intoxicants or refraining from consuming substance that crown, that cloud the mind, and leads to the helplessness. So any drugs or any intoxicant or any alcohol, any things that we use, after we use, and then it will, it's difficult for us to make decision. Difficult for us to make decision to say something. Or you see, when the people, they are not, some people, they are not talkative, right? But when they drink and they get drunk, so they're also very talkative as well. Some people, they actually normal, they are not fighting the other, but when they get drunk, so they do that. If getting fight, they speak something that is they want to fight with the other, like that. Okay, so means that any things that we consume, okay, we consume, and then our decision is reduced, our mind, our state mindfulness reduce, we cannot control ourselves, like that. So clarity and mindfulness is that maintaining a clear or focused mind is essential for us to practice as living in Buddhism. As I mentioned that when people when they drink and they get drunk, so that is the mindfulness of people is reduced. So that is could, when mindfulness is gone, they can do whatever, some other things, killing, stealing, sexual misconduct, and lying. This is a four precept. Last time we talked to you that which precept is the most important. And many people say number one, number two, number three, but actually, according to the Buddhist teaching, number five is the most important, because when you lost the mindfulness, then you can break precept number one, two, three, four, like that. And what else, that the action that happen when somebody is unconscious or are not fully with mindfulness, okay? So we call unwholesome action. Akusala karma. Kusala karma means wholesome. Akusala karma means unwholesome. Okay, so intoxicant or drugs can impair judgment and increase likelihood engaging harmful or unethical behavior. This is exactly what happened, right? I showed a video for you to watch before, right? First video that his daughter is not happy because the accident that happened and need to cut her legs because her father get drunk and drive. That's one of the problem that can cause not yourself but also cause the other life as well. And the second video that actually in Thai, but like in the video mentioned that her know that her son's coming from Bangkok to visit her, and then she prepared food for her son, but finally she got only cow, like a cow spirit, yeah, that just come to tell her that I'm sorry, that he mentioned that I'm not dying at the accident, but I died during they took me to the hospital, like that. This is kind of suffering to people as well. So this has happened because the alcohol, intoxicant. And then what else? The ethical conducts. They said upholding the fifth precept is a core aspect of Buddha's teaching and righteous living. So when we talk about the five precepts, you see that mindfulness, the word mindfulness or sati is very important. People, when they get angry, if their sati is not strong, they could harm the other. They could make some bad karma, some or unwholesome. So sati is very important for people. When people get drugs, whatever, some marijuana or some other drugs, maybe mushroom like you say, or some other thing. Some people use for medicine, like opium. When I was young, my parents used opium as to help you for stomach problem or sometimes health problem. They use opium to fix about that health. But if you take every day, then you become addict. So why we need to abstain from the intoxicants or drugs? They said that because when we get drink or we take all these intoxicant or drugs, then the impaired judgment will reduce. Okay, because intoxicant could one's ability could make it like you cannot easily to make some decision. And second, as I mentioned, the unwholesome action. This has happened because when you lost mindfulness, and then alcohol also engage in harmful, unethical behavior. It means sometimes some people did something because they cannot control themselves because the alcohol already taken them and disturb mindfulness. Okay, as I mentioned that in Buddhism, we mindfulness, even you practice meditation, sati, and samadhi, if you have too much samadhi or too much concentration or too much meditation, then you will like addict to always sitting. So that's why our teacher always mentioned that we have to balance between sati samadhi to acknowledge ourselves as well. Otherwise, when we get deep to meditation, sometimes we go directly to sleeping as well. So this is the reason why we need to abstain from intoxicants or all drugs or alcohol or whatever that we consume and can create some impact to our mindfulness. Okay. So the definition of intoxicant, they said that some such as alcohol, recreational drugs, and then certain medications when abused, like morphine, right? Morphine, some we used to release to help us to how to say, to help us pain. But if we use too much and every day, then you will be addicted to. Okay, so there are so many medication, many medicine. When you use every time, then it will let you addict to that as well. And when before we talk about somebody smoke, do you think that smoke is a part of the precept number 5? What do you think? Before our friend mentioned that smoking cigarette is a part of intoxicant or violate to precept number 5. What do you think? You think that smoke or cigarette is also concerned with this as the definition? When people smoke, do they still have mindfulness or they lost their mindfulness? Is there anybody here used to smoke before? Nobody, right? Okay, we will discuss this later on. Number 2, they have more example like the intoxicant like alcohol, cannabis, and opiates, and then any mind altering substances that can impair judgment, ethical decision making. As I mentioned before, that any things you consume and then it reduces your judgment, it reduces your mindfulness. That is a part of the precept, concerned with precept number 5. And the alternate mind, what is that? Intoxicant, crowd wisdom, do mindfulness or increase uh, susceptibility to unwholesome action. So all these things that it could like they compare like the sun. When the clouds cover, then we cannot see the sun or the moon, right? So some like that. When we drink some alcohol or something, drink intoxicant or we take intoxicant, then that is part of barrier uh, our mind, our mindfulness as well, and thus it could cause the problem for that. So next, how intoxicants affect to the mind. They mentioned that intoxicant diminish one's ability to remain present and attentive. Number two, cloud wisdom. So when we consume or consuming intoxicants, impair ethical judgment or decision making. So people will be difficult for make decision. Increase susceptibility. So under the intoxicant or when people drink, when people take intoxicants, ones become more likely to concern with the action they cultivate, bad karma. So when we break the precept, so they mentioned that intoxicant substance consumed must be intoxicant in an intoxicant. So this is kind of like the factor that how to consider that is the intoxicant or not. So the person that do something or break this precept first, so that should be like intoxicant, okay. And number two, the knowledge. The knowledge is kind of like that is kind of drugs, intoxicant, or something like when you take it, it will reduce yourself for ability or decision making. And number three, the intention. Okay, intention. When somebody drink, and they have intention to drink, this is the consume about the intoxicant. And number four, then they consume this. They consume this. This is kind of like the constitute of violation. That if people break the precept, following step by step, there are 4 steps of this that is considered. Okay, we can say that they broke the precept. Yeah, they break the precept of this. According to Buddhist teaching, moral implications. Okay, they mentioned that. Okay, what happened? The negative karma. Karma means action. Okay, so negative karma means some action that it could accumulate about your karma. The karma that you do it without your mindfulness. So that they mentioned that when breaking the precept or breaking the 5 precepts leads to accumulation of negative karma. Why we say the negative karma? Because the mindfulness is not don't have enough like ability to move on, to help yourself. When we compare like a computer and the virus, if you have very weak virus, then a very weak antivirus, then the virus easily to attach your computer. So if your mind and your body, if your mind is not strong enough, your mindfulness is gone, sati is gone, then that it cause a problem to you. Distance from mindfulness, yes, the mindfulness will be weak when somebody get drink, and that it could cause the bad karma. Unwholesome action, exactly that when people they drink, if they are unconscious or they cannot control themselves, so they can do like this. In Thailand, some of the situation happen to people also from the intoxicant. So how to practice the 5th precept? Okay, how to practice for the mindfulness. For the mindfulness, they said that cultivate heightened awareness in social situation and where intoxicant may be present. So it's better to go to the place that people have they have like party, they have ceremony, they have kind of drinking alcohol. If you have friends, some people maybe go there and then you just like, yeah, some of my friends, not among, they are lay people, where they go to a place like a pub, a bar, and something like this, because their friend invite them to go there. So they have no choice, they have to go. So they drink instead of water, or drink some other like Coca-Cola or soft drink like that instead of alcohol like that. That's also okay. Avoiding a place, environment where to temptation. Temptation is very important, because if you stay in the environment that people always in concern with intoxicant, then that is high risk for people. Self-awareness, okay, so that develop a deep understanding of how intoxicants affect one's mind and behavior. And this is very important, because at least people that we should be careful, and we should we have to practice, especially for the Buddhists, we practice samadhi or meditation to increase our mindfulness. Every time we practice meditation, our master will let you to focus on nose or abdomen, whatever that is, how to cultivate the mindfulness. So this can help you to have very strong mindfulness, and then the mindfulness will help you to about the awareness when somebody invite you or something else that happen. So this is kind of like the textual references that concern with the intoxicant. Okay, as I mentioned, that there's the story in the Buddha Dhamma, Buddha Pada, Dhammabot, Dhammabot or Buddha Pada, about the Buddha to talk about the intoxicant. Even according to the Buddhist teaching, also mention about the first person that take some drugs. Okay, take some drug. External drugs are kind of like alcohol from the fruit that is falling in the tree, and they drink and they be like that. Last time I also showed that. The path of ethical conduct. Okay, ethical living and spiritual growth in hand by hand. So a path of ethical conduct, I think, as I mentioned before, that first we should keep away from the environments that they always concerned with intoxicant. Okay, intoxicants that we should aware that. Actually, I used to join the detox group. The people do detox, and then they mention about they mention about that if you drink alcohol one time, right, to your body, then your body needs 7 days. I'm not sure that it's right or wrong, but they mention on all the group doctor, they said that our body needs 7 days to clean it out, all the alcohol from our body. uh That's why somebody, if they regular drink every day, you can see the face is different from the other people. They're addicts to the alcohol, or they use some drugs, some yes, some medical medication in wrong purpose. The importance of mindfulness in observing the precepts. As I mentioned, that mindfulness is kind of like we compare like the antivirus that not allow the virus attach your computer. Even you meditate, you practice meditation retreat, or you using in daily life, your daily life or routine, whatever. Mindfulness is very important. Mindfulness or sati is very important. Sampachanya, sampachanya is kind of like awareness. Awareness. That sampachanya, sati, sampachanya is very important for us to realize that who we are, what are we doing now. The action that we start to do or we are doing is good karma or bad karma, wholesome or unwholesome. That is the thing, that the importance of mindfulness. So the mindfulness about should realize aware about the intoxicant, and then edible ethical living. As I the video that I show you that, yeah, sometimes some people drink and then they get drunk, so they cause a lot of problem and cause other life is suffering too. And then it's also concerned with the ethical of personal ethical for practice. When you go to the meditation area, and of course, if we drink alcohol, we take some drugs, and that is also violate to our meditation practice as well. Like it's called barrier. What about the fifth precept in the modern context? The modern context. Now, in society, I think that people, when they have party, they should have alcohol, right? Based on alcohol. Because I think, I don't know, but is there anyone can share some experience why when they have party or something like this, why they use alcohol? Anyone want to share about this? Why they drink alcohol when they have party, or they use, like you mentioned, the southern part in Thailand or other, I'm not sure for which country as well. Yeah, they use something like this, and I don't know why, but if you have some experience, can you share some to our friend? Because alcohol can make them happy. Yes.
Actually, Prajan, I remember there was this moment I was in Chiang Mai before ordaining as a monk. I was studying at an international Thai massage school there. And next to the school, there was some some very big hotels, very fancy, luxurious. And in
Yeah.
front of these hotels, every day that I would be going to the school to study, every night throughout the weekend, I would see teenagers getting ready to go to party, and it
Mm.
made me observe on how impatient they would be towards each other, and they would be shouting, and they'd be like, come on guys, let's go, let's rush, where's the snacks, where's the bottles of alcohol, and this and that. And it made me be so disappointed to see people going towards that direction. While as for
Mm.
me, I know how difficult it is to come to this side of the world, how much energy and effort it's put for someone to come here. And whenever you're having the right intention, there is so much growth. But whenever the intention is diluted because certain karmic events, I would guess, this is what would happen. So it made me be quite grateful to see the kind of journey that I was compared to those that will be coming here for a different kind of purpose.
Mm. Thank you for sharing some information about this. In beside my temple as well, in Wat Suan Dok, Chiang Mai, there's a coffee shop there, but in front is coffee shop, but behind that, they're kind of like um, as a restaurant, something like that. And when they get drunk, they are very shouty. They're very loud. They're shouting over there, and I used to call to the police many times because they cannot sleep. 1 a.m., 2 a.m. They are happy. So I think you see that, as I mentioned, that why they use alcohol. Maybe when they drink alcohol, they forgot about something that they inside. So they want to show something. They're shouting. They didn't realize other people like. When I call police, I said, "Hey, hello." I call 199. Oh, 191. Uh, please help me because the people are very shouting outside there next to the temple. That's not right. In Thailand also illegal when the people setting up restaurant and people drinking next to the temple. Okay, so yeah, people maybe they need something to like to make them unchained, right? To change the behavior. So that's why they take something like this. Okay, so in the modern context, challenges in modern society, that now we have more maybe varieties of intoxicants that are available, and people can find everywhere in Thailand in 7-Eleven, every 7-Elevens that they sell all this intoxicant, but there another rule that they have limited time to sell. And in Thailand, in the day of Visa they also stop for selling all this drug. That's also good too. My mindful approach. Okay, so this is kind of like things that happen in our environments, that how can our mind will aware and then escape from all this bad situation, and finding balance between mind and body, in order to sometimes people suffer and they want to release their suffering, and they go to drink alcohol, but because they think that after they drink alcohol they will be happy, so they forgot of suffering. Or sometimes they don't have, they're very poor, so sometimes they drink alcohol to release their anxiety or some other problem. But that, according to Buddhists, is not the correct way, it's not the correct solution, it's not the best solution for people to help, because the problem still be there, but you just like blind yourself from that problem. The benefits of following the 5 precepts. Okay, so improve mental clarity. So of course, that when we keep away from this, stronger ethical conduct, and then peaceful relationships between yourself, your family, and your society. Spiritual growth. This is kind of like when people are intently to practice the mindfulness by meditating, whatever, and not concerned with the drugs or alcohol. That is kind of a solution that they can moving on these people to get a better life and get a better mind, quality of the mind. Embracing the path to the ethical conduct. Okay, this is mindfulness reflection. So it depends that when the intoxicant, we should, whatever we're going to do, we should consider what is good and what's not good. Like many people take cigarette, and sometimes you ask them that what is the goodness? Can you find any goodness from smoking or drinking? Sometimes they cannot answer you as well. Uh, yeah, a kind of intention setting. Actually, most of people they do this by the intention and then committed action. Okay, so I will move a little bit forward. So now let's see the 4 components before I talk about the 4 components that it can like the 4 components that when you break the precept, okay, when you break the precept. So in Bali, we also have some kind of like the some kind of the word to say about the factor or the components that we can consider as how do you say that, breaking the precept number 5. Breaking the precept number 5. Number 1, they mention about the Matha Niyang. Matha Niyang. Matha Niyang, it means something that it could when you consume and then let you lost your mindfulness or your decision making reduce or mindfulness gone, like that. And number two is pa tu kamui ya ta jitang. So this is kind of like intention need to consume. And Third, it is tachacho vayamo. Then a person try to consume that. And then the last one, you consume, successful consume. This is kind of like the components I mentioned before that for all this, if we completely this, then that means that we break the precept. Okay. I talked before about clouding the mind, harm oneself and other. Yes. And then hindering a spiritual process. Already it is. So also discuss that the benefit of abstinence, okay, mindfulness and clarity. So even whenever we observe this process, it helps us about mindfulness and then responsible for decision better, protecting others, and then ability to help yourself, help the other, also the mind that we can moving on. Okay. This is more a little bit more. They also mention the caffeines and then the tobacco. The use of tobacco and nicotine produce is also considered a violation of the fifth precept. This is called the tobacco because when we take it, we addict. Even our mindfulness is still full, but you know if they are the light someone they didn't use this tobacco, they cannot smoke for 2 or 3 days, or maybe one day, their emotion will change. So there's a kind of that too. And medication. So the medication, it depends on people use for. You use for medicine or they use for enjoyment. Okay. So practice cultivating in Buddhism. Cultivating yourself, self-discipline, observe the fifth precept. Commitment, to make like conscious commitment, abstain from all drugs, and then diligence. So this is called the Buddhism. We try to promote, we try to encourage people to follow and practice. The cornerstone of Buddhist ethics, the precept. The precept, and this precept is the fundamental for Buddhist people to follow, even precept number 1 until number 5, and the other precept for the 5 precept that we follow in order we follow or we abstain, we observe the precept is a kind of tools that can help us to succeed. First, healthy, mental healthy and physical healthy, and then the IS, the highest goal of this is when somebody practice meditation or practice Buddhism, they can let their mind for develop further and further. Okay, this is kind of like as I mentioned that observing the fifth precept, good recognize, so abstain some other problems, and then good for mindfulness for cultivating good karma. Compassion and fifth precept. Okay, self-care, care for others, and interconnectedness. So it's kind of relation that when we don't drink and we still have more friends and get connection with other friends. If there are a group of people that they're always drinking, then they will got like kind of the mind linked to that people. So they have group of people that drink alcohol. The group of people maybe they if you don't drink alcohol, then you have another friend that they don't drink. But if you drink alcohol, then you will join with another a group that people always drink alcohol like that. So that's it depends on ourselves. Okay, so mindfulness, ethical conduct, spiritual development. This is I already mentioned that it's a part for us to moving on with our to how to say that is to develop our mind in order to get happiness ourselves. Drugs can give short, maybe somebody feel like happiness, but that is short happiness for them, but the problem still remaining there. So all this it is the it is the 5 precept for today. Is there? So now we come back to our question before. What do you think? The question that you asked about a mushroom, right? So we can make some decision now as something consume. Any other want to share about this? You think that is the drugs or that is the medication terms? Like we drink water every day, right? But this is the necessary for our body, right? But sometimes alcohol is our body doesn't need it, but we put in order to make like maybe people think that maybe make them happy like that. And even marijuana, even drugs, even opium, even alcohol, tobacco, whatever. This is from other nature or some kind of beer that people do it. In the Bali say sura meraya. Sura means alcohol. Meraya means some kind like a beer or yes, like a beer. That is meraya. So something that could cause your when you consume and it can reduce your abilities. Anyone to share something else? Anyone to share some ideas, some question that we can discuss before? Today, last time I mentioned that today we are going to take some tests, right? Some quiz about the precept number. We did precept number 1, number 2 already, right? And number 3, not yet, right? So today we are do a test, a quiz, precept number 3, to check your to revise about yourself. And then let's see, I'm not sure, I have to check my schedule that which day it will be the last day that we study about this. Some other topic that we still talk about is Kalayanatham. And then Kalayanatham is kind of relationship that love and kindness, compassion, which is concerned with precept number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Also concerned with Buddhist ethics, Buddhist teaching. When we get angry with somebody and in return we think about positive, so it can help us reduce our anger like that. Any other want to share something before I give the link for you? Precept number 3. If you have no question, then I will let you to do the quick 20 items. It's called multiple choice, so just revise yourself. And then, so after you finish submit, then you can continue with the next subject. I have some another meeting after this, then I will give you the link. You need the link I send to the Line group, or we have in the Line group we are together, right? All of the student, right? So I send to this chat. It will be okay. Is everyone can see it, right? This is precept number 3. Okay, you can use your phone or you can do on computer or whatever.
give a message.
พี่วินพระอาจารย์ให้เราสรุปข้อที่3แล้วก็ส่งให้พระอาจารย์อย่างนี้ใช่ปะกันบ้าน
ไม่ครับหลวงพี่เควินพระอาจารย์ให้ลิงก์ทำมาครับ ให้ฟอร์มใน Google Form ครับ แล้วก็ตอบคำถามตอบ
เนี่ย
คำ
มัน
ตอบ
ไม่ อันนี้มันไม่มีข้อตอบ
อ๋อไม่มีเหรอครับ
มันไม่มีขึ้นอ่ะพระอาจารย์
ในแชทบ็อกมีข้อสอบไหม
อยู่ในแชทนะครับพระอาจารย์
อยู่ในแชทบ็อกอ่ะที่เป็น Google Form อ่ะ
มัน
ท่านเห็นไหมในตัวแชทอ่ะท่านเห็นไหม
เอ่อ
พระอาจารย์ส่งลิงก์ไปอ่ะ
มันขึ้น name family name แล้วก็วันเดือนปีแค่นี้เอง
ครับ
หลวงพี่
แล้วก็
ต้องเปิด
กดถัดไป
กดถัดไปอ่ะ
ครับ ได้ไหม
ลองกดดูครับ
มันจะมี next section อ่ะ
อ๋อครับผม
ได้แล้วเหรอ
โอเคเจอแล้วพระอาจารย์ขอบคุณครับ